Okay, so vegetable ceviche, basil, feta, some fresh mushrooms. I think we're ready. Let's eat. Hi, I'm Chef Robert Church, and welcome to my dining room. So, I've got the pan preheating. I've got some olive oil here to saute the mushrooms in. And you just want to make sure that the oil's hot. You can always tell by the way it looks in the pan. If it's hot enough, it sort of ripples through the pan. That's perfect. The mushrooms are going to go in, and they should start to sizzle right away. There they go. These will saute for probably about no more than about 10 minutes. I don't want to overdo them. I just want to get them to release their flavor and soften them up a little bit. Then we can put the rest of the ceviche together. So I'm going to cut up the hearts of palm. This is the other part of the ceviche. These literally are the hearts or insides of young palm tree branches that they harvest, and they open them up, and you get these almost kind of white asparagus looking little tubes out of them. And they have kind of a almost white asparagus flavor. They're a little bit sweet. They are soaked in brine, so there's a little bit of saltiness to them as well, but they're very soft. And they have a real nice texture. I'm going to go away, and we'll get these in here. And now that these are done, we're about ready to start the ceviche. So now I'm going to put the ceviche together. The mushrooms have sauteed. They're lightly brown. They've given up a little bit of the liquid. So I'm going to make the dressing first. I've got about half a cup of white wine vinegar. You can use champagne vinegar too if you want a little bit more of a mild flavor. This is 1 clove of minced garlic in there. 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Like that. Stir it up a little bit. Now the vinegar is going to mellow out a little bit as the dish sits, and the mushrooms and everything else gives up some extra flavor. But the vinegar helps everything sort of soften up and incorporate. So I'm going to put the mushrooms in. I've got half a pound, or it was 8 ounces before cooking, of cremini mushrooms. We have 6 sliced hearts of palm. I have about 4 large basil leaves, and I'm going to roll these up and cut them into strips or into chiffonade. There we go. And just in there. Now, if you kind of mash the basil in there a little bit, it begins to give up some of its volatile oils, and you get a lot of the flavor coming out, and this smells really good. And the last thing is going to be some sliced red onion. And I'm going to use my benreiner, which is a Japanese mandolin for this. I do it right over the bowl. You just set that on the bowl, and until you can't go anymore. And the other side. A little bit up there on the counter, and we'll mix all that together. And this is going to refrigerate for at least an hour, if not more, because you want all the flavors to sort of meld together and everything to soften up a little bit. It smells fantastic. The colors are very nice. You have some nice green from the basil. The nice vinegar is going to be ivory white of the hearts of palm, and the reddish purple from the onion. So this is ready to go in the fridge, and we're going to pull this out in about an hour, and we'll plate it up. So the first dish we're going to plate up is the ceviche. I'm going to start with a layer of arugula on the plate. Nice peppery greens. Let's make sure that we don't have any stems hanging off the edge of the plate. Then with a slotted spoon, I'll take some of the ceviche out, put it in the middle of the arugula. And you can see the basil and the onions and the mushrooms and hearts of palm in there. I'm going to finish that with a spoonful of crumbled feta cheese. Just like right there. That guy right there. A little bit more. Alright, and there you have the vegetable ceviche. I grew up in a little town in southern Colorado called Fowler. It's about half an hour east of Pueblo. midway from Pueblo to Kansas. About probably 2,500 people in the whole place. Very, very small, idyllic, almost sort of beaver cleaver kind of place. Now we're going to make a perfect cold weather soup. This is a chilled avocado soup. Super simple. It all happens in your blender right here. I've already got one avocado in there. It takes two. So I'm going to go ahead and get the pit out of the second one and scoop all the avocado flesh into the blender. Then all we have to do is add some things to make it tasty. Blend it up. I'm going to chill it for about an hour. 2 to 3 is better. Let the flavors come together. So you just take the avocado pit out with your knife. I'm going to dump it back here in the sink. And nice ripe avocados, you know, those are the ones that when you get them, you press on the skin. It gives a little bit, but yet it's not mushy. There you go. And so all the flesh is in there. I've got 1.5 cups of vegetable stock. You can use chicken stock if you'd like. So dump it in there. 4 teaspoons of key lime juice. This has a Jamaican background, so it's got a little bit of Jamaican flavor going on. So limes, scallions. I've got 1 scallion sliced up there. Get it all in there. About a tablespoon of fresh grated ginger goes in there. With a little black pepper. Pepper is also distinctly Jamaican. And now all that's left is to puree the soup. And there we go. I like to pulse it a little bit first. Let it puree for a while. There we go. So that is that. When I was a kid, I was influenced first off by my grandma and her country style of cooking. She cooked for the people that worked on she and Grandpa's sheep farm. And so she was used to cooking for a lot of people, and we made, you know, shredded potato cakes and lemon meringue pies and things like that. When I was a teenager, I got my mom a red wok for Christmas, and she never used it and asked me to use it. So I began to cook Chinese food for her with that. So now we're going to plate up the cream of avocado soup. It's been chilling for about 2 hours in the refrigerator. I like to put mine in a big mixing cup so that I can just pour it right into the bowl. Go. Nice and thick. I'm going to finish it off with some Greek yogurt whipped with lime juice and a little bit of garlic. So we have a garlic lime crema. Just a little bit more on there. And when you eat it, you just mix it all together. And there's the soup. Now I'm going to start to prepare the tofu for the Chinese tofu lettuce wraps. Now to do this, I want to fry this and make it a little crispy. The easiest way to do that is start off with some extra firm tofu, and I'm going to cut it into strips. It'll cook quickly that way, and it's easy to chop it up when I'm done. So I'm going to go through it like this to begin with, and then I'll just take 3 planks and just make little, half-inch strips. 2 sets of them. I've already got the pan heating up. So now I'm going to put some light vegetable oil. Don't use olive oil. It's going to flavor the tofu like you're from Italy, which you don't want. So this is safflower oil. And the pan is rippling already. And I'm just going to start laying the tofu in there. And it's going to sizzle when it hits the pan. And it'll saute until it gets nice and golden brown. And you can chop it up and finish the dish. One more layer. You don't want to crowd the pan too much or it won't cook right. That's perfect. So we'll be back when the tofu is ready. The thing I love most about cooking is the pleasure that my guests get from eating the food I prepare. It's one of the most gratifying experiences to have, let's say, a small group of people over for dinner or a large group at the restaurant and have everyone happy at the end of the meal. Now I'm going to put together the filling for our Chinese tofu lettuce wraps. I've got the skillet heating up. I've got some light vegetable oil. I'm going to put in some chopped up water chestnuts, some scallion, some garlic, and some grated ginger. Let that cook down just a little bit. And I'm keeping the heat fairly low. I don't want this to burn, but I do want all the aromatics to give off their flavors. Grab a spoon. You can already smell the garlic and the ginger beginning to cook in there and give off their flavors. The scallions will cook down and give a nice oniony flavor to the stuffing as well. I don't want to do this for more than about a minute. I don't want to burn the garlic, it'll turn it bitter. So just as soon as a great smell off of that, I'm going to go ahead and put in the tofu cubes and some carrot. And I'm actually going to slice the carrot right over the pan. I'm going to use my mandolin, my Japanese mandolin. It's got a normal, regular-sized carrot. And you don't have to try this at home, but this is one of my favorite techniques. You can just run the carrot through, and it slices it right in the pan. This carrot got a little soft under the lights here, but I think we'll be all right. Looks pretty good. So that's about a tablespoon and a half to 2 tablespoons of thinly sliced carrot. I'll get that out of there. Now for the liquid component, I'm going to put in some tamari and some sesame oil. And the tamari will give it a little bit of a salt flavor. The sesame oil will give it a nice, deep, nutty sesame taste. And some white pepper. And in China, you use Szechuan pepper. But Szechuan pepper is illegal to bring into the United States, so we use white pepper instead. It gives it a nice sort of bite. It's a little bitter, not overtly so. And it's quite different than black pepper if you've never used white pepper before. This is going to simmer away for about 5 more minutes, but I want it to cool a little bit before I put it in the lettuce. I'll make a dipping sauce for it, and we'll be ready to go. The thing that I'd like people to learn from this is that my food and myself are one, and I would like to present vegetarian food to as many people as I possibly can in a delicious, a filling, and a beautiful way, and for people to know that meatless cooking can be haute cuisine and very satisfying and can be a gourmet dining experience. Now we're going to plate up the Chinese stuffed lettuce leaves. This is a sauce made out of hoisin sauce, Chinese black vinegar, ginger, and scallion. I'm going to get a red lettuce leaf on the plate, spoon in some of the filling, keep it in the lettuce leaf. And when you eat this, you just grab it up, make a little package out of it, dip a little bit of it in the sauce, and put it in all at one go. To finish, some ground peanuts. And there you have crispy tofu, stuffed Chinese lettuce leaves. So now I'm going to prepare my pears for the Peri al Vino, the Italian pears poached in white wine sauce. Red wine sauce, pardon me. I've already got 1 pear in there, some red wine, some water, some sugar, lemon peel, and some orange peel. Now the trick, when you do your pears, you have to peel them. The first thing you do before you peel it is to cut the bottom off. That way it'll sit in the pan. Just get rid of that. Now these are fairly delicate. These are Bosc pears, and they're just ripe, so you have to be kind of careful as you're peeling them. Don't do it too vigorously or you can destroy the fruit. So I'm just going to very slowly go around it, get all the peel off here. And I can already hear the red wine sauce beginning to simmer over there. You kind of have to watch out, the peel will stick in your vegetable peeler. Just pull it out, strip. This is almost ready. Now when the pears are done, they come out of the liquid and then I put in a lot more sugar and reduce it down to make a red wine sauce, which will be served over the pears for dessert. There we go. So you can see it's all peeled. The stem is there, which looks nice. It's a nice presentation. And I'm just going to put that down in the liquid and turn it on its side. And they'll simmer for about 8 to 10 minutes per side. And then we will cool them down. Cooking is art whenever you want it to be, whether you are presenting a bowl of soup to somebody or preparing a squid ink foam. It's what you make of it. You can serve somebody something beautifully no matter what it is as art. You can bring out something deep within yourself for a dish, and that's art. The way you put the dishes together, I think, is art. So for me, cooking in and of itself, the whole experience is an artistic experience. So to plate the pears, I've got my garnacha, reduction right here. I'm going to cover the bottom of the plate with it. This little pool of ruby red right there. And I'm going to just place one of the pears right in the middle. And you will serve it just like that. So this is my cookbook. I wrote it about 3.5 years ago. It's called The Tao of Tofu. It's all about tofu. It has about 110 recipes in it. It has all the Thai curries and the tofu curries and soups and salads and even a section on vegetarian sushi. It has a listing of Oriental ingredients, Oriental cooking appliances, and I did write a fair amount just from my own experience. The cover was taken by a friend of mine, Paul Thompson. I later photoshopped it. I elongated that red plate on the cover. That's from a Japanese market here in Denver. The yin yang is actually a block of tofu that I cut with a custom cookie cutter from some guy out in, I think, Boston or something. Then I photoshopped the eyes back and forth there on the tofu, and I painted the block on the right with Chinese black ink. And so hopefully there'll be more cookbooks to come.